Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about advice. Advice for beginners on what to grind and what not to grind. We can see here a list of the bottom performing vehicles in the game. And in the number 4 position, we have the Leopard 1. In the number 1 position, we have the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. Just as an idea of how bad the Leopard and Panzerwagen are performing, the FE2 and 5V 183 is over here. So, yeah, the 183 is doing quite a bit better. And it's not a shock to me that the Leopard 1 is a terrible performer. It's a tank that requires an immense amount of skill. You need to know positioning. You need to know how to counter enemy vehicles, how to deal with the current meta of vehicles like E50Ms and M48 Pattons. And when you put people in the Leopard, they simply struggle. And it's one of the worst beginner tanks because of that. The other day in my Discord server, I was having a debate with someone because there were people telling me that, oh, the Leopard's a great beginner vehicle because it teaches you to make less mistakes and to perform better. And in theory, that sounds great, right? You teach a player why, you drive a Leopard and you drive it in a bad spot, boom, you're dead. And then you move on and learn. The problem is, most players don't learn. They drive their Leopard in a bad spot, they think, oh, it wasn't my fault, and then they do it again, and again, and again. And that's why the Leopard is one of the worst performing tanks. If people learned and knew how to use this vehicle properly, it would be one of the best performing tanks. But it's not. And it's because people continuously don't learn, and they get punished heavily for making small mistakes. So, today I'm going to be showcasing a vehicle that I do think you should grind as a beginner, a vehicle that you should grind even as an experienced player, and that is the Progetto 65. This tank is basically just a Leopard 1, but better, in terms of forgiveness, not in terms of capabilities. I think both the Progetto and the Leopard are both very, very capable. But what makes the Progetto a beginner-friendly yet, similar playstyle? Well, the thing is, the Progetto does not have a lot of armor. Its turret is useless. You're not going to get really any bounces using the turret armor. Mobility-wise is very similar to the Leopard, though. It achieves a top speed upwards of 58 kilometers per hour. It has a great power-to-weight ratio, so it's super mobile. It's got that really, really fun, aggressive playstyle. The big difference? This tank is an auto reloader, which means that you have 350 alpha shells, where the Leopard only has 360 alpha shot. And sure, the Leopard might have more DPM, it doesn't matter. Like, people live in this la-la land that DPM is the most important thing. It's not. I've said it so many times, I will continue to say it, and there will still be people that are delusional thinking that DPM is the only thing that matters. If it was, the Leopard 1 would be the top performing tank, but it's not. Vehicles like the Badger would be the top performing vehicles. The most important values in Blitz are simply that of damage output, and the Progetto is a great example of that. That enemy FE4202 just lost 1,050 health, just like that. We just literally annihilated that player. And in return, we didn't lose anything. And that's crazy when you take a second and think about it, right? We have the enemy Progetto, boom, easy 370 damage shell. I mean, we are just ripping out damage, and in return, we don't have any downsides, really. We just chill and cover. There's the 4005, so I don't need to worry about that anymore. Look at my gun. We are already back to 3 shells, which means that I have the ability to miss my shots. That's fine. Is this 4202 really trying to fight us? Well, we got a little lucky there, but I'm not too worried. That's what's great about this tank, though. You have multiple shells, which allows you to play this tank aggressive in many different situations. We have the Kampfpanzer here. There's a 360 damage shell. We aim it on the Kampfpanzer again. There's a 400 damage shell. Think about that. We just took almost 800 health off that player. And because we're an auto reloader, when the Kampfpanzer is not looking at me, I simply reload more shells. So I aim it on the Kampfpanzer again. I reload more shells, aim it on the Kampfpanzer again. I'm already up to 3,000 damage. You can see how forgiving this playstyle is, right? I just play aggressive, and I get away with the plays, because that's what this tank does. It gets away with these aggressive plays. It gets rewarded for making these maneuvers. And in 2 seconds, we'll have our shells back, and then I can watch the Progetto kill himself for some reason. A very skilled player. We're going to move all the way over here wide, and we're going to start aiming it on the Foch. And that Foch is going to be lost. He's already put himself in an awkward spot. We're just gonna, well, actually, we got the 7.52. Now, pretend I was in a Leopard here, right? The 7.52 would shoot me once, he would shoot me twice, and I'd have to be really careful. But because I'm in a Progetto, I can just shoot this guy 3 times, bring him down to a 1-shot, and now his game's over. Like, oh no, what will I ever do? This was a great game, though. And it really shows how easy it is to deal damage in this tank. 4,154 dealt, and it was one of the easiest games ever. The thing that's great about this tank, as I said, is that because you have that clip, it's forgiving. If you make a bad play, you can still fend opponents off. You can still damage people. It's the same reason the Caro 45 ton is the most popular tier 10 medium. It's because it has this super large clip, so if you make a bad play, you can get rewarded even with making a bad play. I've gotten so many games where just some bozo Caro player will full speed YOLO me, and even though I'm not doing anything wrong, they'll still get rewarded because they have a clip and I don't. And it's the same thing for the Progetto. This tank will reward you even if you make bad plays because it has that clip. But because it has mobility, and because it doesn't have a lot of armor, you will still get punished for making bad plays. So this tank kind of is that really nice medium, where you have a gun that can punish people if they try to YOLO you. And it can still hold its ground if you're getting rushed. But it also has this really weak, aggressive playstyle that means that you'll learn from your mistakes, hopefully, if you make bad plays. So you get one shell into the 121B, you get two shells into the 121B, and unfortunately we do get shot by the Sheridan, but I don't really care, because we still won big time in the trade department. We dealt like 900 damage, and we only bled maybe 500-ish, so that's still a big dub if you ask me. We have the enemy Sheridan, which we are going to aim in on. There you go, 346. We're up to 1,000 damage already. Would a Leopard have been up to 1,000 damage at this point? Probably not. We have that 183 in the back, and keeping an eye on that player, but I don't think they're going to move up. I really wish they would, but I don't think it's going to happen. But what we can do is we can... maybe not. 3, 2, 1... Nope, did not hit. However, the 183 is now moving. There you go. We get a 388 damage shell. Nice. Pretty good. You can also see the Progetto is fairly accurate. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about? This gun sucks. Well, the thing is it has combat stabilization, so it doesn't bloom much when you're sitting still. And with Refined Gun, the gun's actually not terrible, so it is actually somewhat accurate for the most part. I have to be very cautious here. There's the 121B. I don't know where the Sheridan is, but what I am going to do is I'm going to move up ever so slightly. Ah, there's the Sheridan. Maybe enemy 752. There you go. 291. And we reload and back up. Let's see if we can get a shell. We did! Wow, that was a crazy snap into that Sheridan. You going to keep going? Bonk. Would a Leopard have been able to do that? No way. And that's, again, where this tank feels great. And the thing is that, like, with the 752 rushing me, I have that clip. So he can't even really rush me. At 3 seconds, we have 2 shells, and then if I get another shell, I deal more clipping potential than the 7.52. And I also have single-shot DPM, so I just beat this guy. Watch, right? Let me show you. Okay, there's 391. Okay, now I got a second shell into the 7.52. There's 336, right? There's a third shell into the 7.52. And because that tank's a an auto-loader, and I'm a single-shot and auto-reloader, it just means that he can't counter me. No matter what that 7.52 loses to me. It's wild, but it's what allows this tank to be so good. So the 183 is getting shot. We have the 121B, which we get a nice 350 damage shell into. Again, that 121B can never poke me, because I always have a third shell. And if nobody's poking me right now, I still get that third shell loaded. If that VK72 pokes, he's dead. I can still shoot the 121B. So I'm in this kind of like freebie situation where the enemy really just can't ever make a play on me. Let's see. The Tortoise is going to make an aggressive move. And that's fine with me. There you go. Good play from the Tortoise. I'm going to put on my speed. And I'm going to ignore the 121B, and I'm going to push the 7.52. And the reason why is because, again, I have that clipping potential. There's 438. And we aim it again. Boom. There's 324. Reload again. Let's go for a nice shell into his track. And then we have the Tortoise over here. So I can't even really be rushed for the most part. I do have to be cautious, though, because we have the 121B, which I get one shell into. And I'm just going to chill here. Now you can see, like, this is a great example of where I am in a bit of an awkward spot because the enemy 121B could potentially kill me. But I kind of knew that would happen anyway, so I had to use my DPM and just take that player out of the game. But look, our Patton gets the clear. Tortoise is sucking, but he'll get there eventually. Or not. I'm just going to watch this in silence. There you go. Either way, two great games for the Progetto. Both super easy farms, great damage output. This is why I really like the Progetto. I mean, we ended up dealing 5,800 damage in that game. We didn't even ace it, and super easy carry. Would a Leopard have been able to do everything that I did there? No way. There's no way. Because just against the 752 alone, I would have taken that 800 damage, and the 752 would have been able to outdamage me. And that's why auto loaders are so dangerous. You have that damage that you store. This tank has great DPM. It has very little downsides for dumping the clip. The Progetto is fantastic. So, once again, DPM is not key. Flexibility is key. And I feel like this is a good beginner vehicle to get into that aggressive, fast-paced playstyle, lightly armored style, without suffering too much in terms of the armor, without killing yourself in terms of a single shot tank. So this is my advice. If you want to get better at the game, you want to play faster paced tanks, go for the Progetto. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And yeah, if you'd like to see more content, make sure to click that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.